Hello for part B of this double bill, this fascinating double bill of videos. I just wanted to show you a couple of tools that have just come. These are my preferred brand of screwdriver. It's Klein tools, and although it's black on the top and it proves almost impossible to locate in my tool backpack, I really love them. They're very, very hard material, so much so that I whacked one against the floor and it snapped across here. But they've also got a lifetime guarantee, lifetime. When I bought these at first, they were £29 each. So yeah, you might think there's one born every minute, but I love them so much. The machining on the heads is so precise, and it just the crossheads. When you put them in a crosshead screw the right size, it holds it on quite firmly, and no need for the retractable screwdriver with a retractable holder on it. It holds it nicely. 1000 volts insulation, and this lifetime guarantee. So anyway, the point about this being that this one's a slot head, and I used it in a screw that was just a bit too big for it and put too much leverage on it, and my first one, and I sent it back, and they just replaced it with this new one after 5 years. The only question they asked Lee at City Electrical was, was it being used as a screwdriver? And Lee, being my rock, he said, yeah, this bloke, he definitely will, he's very particular with his tools, and there's no way he's abused that screwdriver. So they just replaced it. The head of it here was chipped because I used it in too big a screw. I don't know if I mentioned that, with too much torque. The crosshead one I threw against the floor and it cracked across here because this is such hard material that I guess it's to an extent a bit more brittle than it should have been, and they replaced that within a few days as well. So I'm thinking now, they were £29 when I bought them. They're now retailing at around the new CEF catalogue that's just come out today, with all the prices on for the first time ever. They're retailing at sort of 17, 18, 19 pounds, that sort of ballpark area. So I'd definitely be looking to get in the new financial year another set of these for my testing backpack. Couple of other part of my backpack toolkit which didn't get into the tool bag tour, which was very off the cuff and really badly filmed, so I'll probably do it again with a bit more light, in a bit more of the way that I'm going to be showing you my holes and circles Euro boxes on the van. I just proved to you that I do have a step drill. These are called Jokers, and they're by Wera, a German make. And the reason I really like them is these wrenches have a particular aptitude for getting into small spaces and still getting leverage, because if you listen to them, they've got something like 80 clicks. I don't know how many it is, but this is a lot of clicks, so you can do a very precise amount of adjustment just backwards and forwards. A tiny little bit will give you that leverage that you need without any slop. So that if you've only got a small space in which to operate this, say there's a wall here which I've had, and a piece of unistrut down here, you can still get leverage on the nut. The methodology of being able to put this in any of many positions on the nut is carried through into the jaws of the item. You've got an irregular castellated cutout there so that the nut can go into the jaws at any angle you can get it. Hence you'll notice that the wrenches are not skewed like traditional wrenches. They don't need to be, because you can put it on at any angle, any of something like what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 different positions. The point with these though, they act like a frying pan. You can use them like a frying pan to hold the nut in, and the nut will not fall out of the bottom. So the nut, imagine I put the nut in, I should have got a nut for this as a demonstration, but you put the nut in the top there and you're holding it, and you can get it in somewhere and just plonk it on the first thread. Why can you do that? Because so the hardened insert covers over 2 or 4 of the carcellations, so that if you have the nut, wherever you have the nut positioned, 2 or more of those carcellations are actually going to act to hold the nut. So these retailed sort of around somewhere around that sort of 16-17 pounds, somewhere around that sort of area. So they're not cheap. And I keep both of them. I keep an 13mm and a 10mm because those are the 2 sizes I most use with Unistrut. I used to use a socket set, and now I just use these. So that's for my Unistrut M8 and M6. So M8 uses a 13mm and M6 uses 10mm Wera Jokers. A quick look at my holes and circles boxes for drilling holes and circles in my van, and then I'll take you through my rebranding, what I think about rebranding. Just before it gets dark, I want to I'll just show you the camera kit I've got, and while we're up there I'll show you an ecostar downlighter that I've been having problems with. Not because I love the downlighters, but I'll explain something about that. This is the ecostar downlighter, which I'm going to chat to you about. It's an English made product, 6.5 watts. It's an under-driven light engine, which means that it's only driven at 175 milliamps or something like that. So the light engine is actually doubly as powerful, and it's under-driven in these lights, which is a huge advantage, even to the good performance of others that are driven at 350 milliamps. That I've got something to say about in a bit. The camera system that I'm using. So this is the cheap old Nikon Coolpix. I don't know how long it's been around, 10 years, somewhere around that area. And you can see the steady that I'm using as well. If I just stand back a bit, you can see the steady I'm using as well. It's not completely balanced. Most of the weight off, and I've reduced the length of the weights as well. So, it's got a pretty low roll rate. Outside, and I'll show you a little bit about what I'm going to talk about as well, which is rebranding for the YouTube channel. That is the blank fascia. Blank. And the Harrison in the window that is window dressing at the moment, I started refurbing this machine 2 years ago. It's going to have a new tool post. This is the new tool post, so there's components that need machining there, which I still haven't done. The lead screw on the compound slide here needs machining. I need to machine. I've got one, but it's just a different mark from this, so it needs a bit of machining around this end, the thrust bearing end. The cross slide hand wheel on this is undergoing machining, and I've remachined all of the hand wheels, a tailstock hand wheel as well, because they needed welding. They were all bust. I've seen very few Harrisons actually that have these aluminium wheels which don't have issues. Usually if they've been in a school and this has been up against a wall here, they go and slam the tailstock. I'll slam the tailstock back, and it'll hit the ball crank and bend the wheel in, and because it's a casting it doesn't bend, it just cracks. So this has been welded. I don't know if you can see there a weld. doesn't really focus, does it? A weld there, and then remachined after painting, as the cross slide is as well. And then what I'm hoping to do, if I just go and turn on some of these spots, there we go. So what I'm hoping to do here is put an M5 stud in there, an M5 stud into the new ball crank. So that's put on there optimistically to be machined at some point in the future. This machine I've had since I was 15, and it was actually sold by my mother, who was an alcoholic and got into financial difficulties, although that wasn't particularly, I don't know whether it was only, we got sold, and then we bought it back a few months later. So it's been in the shipyard, it's been lent. I've lent it out when I was living on a boat and I couldn't have it, so I lent it out, nearly sold it again, but glad I didn't really, because it's been a workhorse. The only thing is with this machine, of course, it's quite slow to use and it doesn't have a lot of space in the spindle.